Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. A few weeks ago I had the amazing opportunity to go to Iceland to see the third volcano. On the way up there I met some amazing photographers, Alex and Kyle, and they shared some amazing tips with us that I will share with you as part of this video. We'll walk you through the edits that I made to this video, how I made them, why I made some of these edits, and how I corrected for some of the things like the lava being overexposed in the imagery. I know this isn't probably the best photo, it's not my favourite photo of what I took in Iceland. However, it's probably the most dramatic because you can see how it really impacts the landscape around it when it was kind of born out of the ground. So I think it's probably the most impactful from that, and it's definitely grown on me the more I've looked at this. So yeah, look forward to sharing it with you all and enjoy. It doesn't look so good right now. It's a little bit overexposed in some places, but it's going to look really good, so stick with this. So I'm just going to start with some of the basic changes we're going to want to make. So I think let's just bring the exposure up just a fraction, say maybe there, and let's bring the extrusion up a little bit as well, sorry, the contrast. Then if you're looking now, I feel like a lot of the highlights, especially here, are really sort of blown out of proportion. So I think I'm going to really want to drop these down. So I'm thinking maybe somewhere around there. Looks a lot better, doesn't it? Just do a quick before, after. Already you can see, especially around here, it's made a huge difference. Then I think let's increase some of the shadows a little bit. Bring out some of that a bit more. So let's go to somewhere around here, 52. And then to kind of compensate, let's bring up some of the whites as well for the smoke. Fractional, say 0.7. And then let's bring down these blacks. I'll make these blacks a lot better. Around 33, I would say. So that's just the basic kind of curves. So if we just go back and do a quick, that was it before, and that's it now. So we've really just kind of brought down the colours in here and brought up the blacks in there a little bit for now. But I love this smoke coming out the top here. So that's it for the basic corrections. Let's go down to the tone curve and let's just remove some of the pure blacks. You see it makes a bit of a difference. I don't want to do too much because I think the blacks are going to really make this. But I definitely want to bring down some of the whites a little bit more. There you go. And let's go for that S-curve style, so let's bring that down a fraction, probably say about there. Start to bring up the lights a little bit more, sort of around here. Looks quite nice about there. We can come back to that later, I think, but that probably looks quite nice. Normally I'll be bringing the blacks up because of the dried lava. I really want to bring those blacks and let those blacks stand out. I think that'd be really good. Nice, so over to the HSLs and the colour grading. So I think we really want to make these oranges in the lava and around here, and the reds pop, and I think maybe bring down the yellows a little bit so we can have a little look. So let's just play around with this a little bit. It's too red, it's probably too yellow there as well. Maybe just bring that up a little bit for now, bring up the hue somewhere about there. I think that's quite nice. Do you want to change anything with this? Change the reds to the, what do you think? Let's bring the reds down a little bit. Yeah, let's bring the reds down, say about there. Really like how that's just changed in here and just a little bit along the side here. And then for yellows, let's probably leave the yellow for the hue alone for a second. Then let's go down to the saturation. Look at the saturation for the red. Do you want to change it to that? I feel like bringing that up a little bit, like 13-ish or so. I think it's going to make a bit of a difference. For the oranges, let's really bring that up as well. I'd say about 14 on that one. I think that looks quite nice. And then we've got the yellows. I think the yellows are probably a bit too much here for the saturation. So probably going to want to bring them down, as you can see the difference, really in the middle of the volcano there. And actually just bring that up a little bit. I think it creates a nice little glow in there. And then maybe bring down the luminance a little bit for the yellows, so that makes a bit of a difference. For the oranges, I think we don't want the luminance to be high. I think we want to bring them down as well. I think somewhere like 0.10, I think that's nice. If you look at that before, just a bit kind of blown out, whereas I think 0.10 there just looks lovely. And then the reds as well, don't want to bring them up, so we're going to drop the luminance on the reds as well. I'd say about 0.10, 0.11-ish to really kind of make that stand out. So if you just look, this was the before, and this is currently where we're at. You just see that lava's really popping, and so is all the blacks around here. I think that's really cool, really nice. I'm going to leave the colour grading for now. A lot of that just kind of like falls into place later. I think let's now go up to here and do some masking. I think that'll look quite nice. We've got a very overexposed sky here, so let's go to the linear gradient. I'll just do a nice big one for now, bring it into about here somewhere, see roughly how that goes. In fact, maybe make that a bit smaller, but bring that down a bit more. It's a bit harsher on the top and blends in quite nicely. I think on here I'm just going to really bring the exposure down, really kind of like that down a little bit. I love how that's changed the smoke up there already. Let's raise up a bit of contrast, bring down some of the highlights. Yeah, about there looks quite nice. Bring down some shadows, fraction, bring the whites down, that's what we're going to want the most of. And let's bring some of the darks in as well. You can see how that's really brought in the colours in the mountains and the sky. So if we quickly turn that off, see how it was before, see how it is now. Quite a big difference already. Might seem a little bit overkill, but I want to bring that down a little bit more. So if I'm going to bring this down to say there, that would look quite nice. I'm going to do another smaller linear gradient just at the top here. I really want to darken this bit down a bit more. But all I'm going to do for this one is just draw the exposure just that little bit more. Nice. So you see it just makes just a real big difference across the top there. It really helps make it a bit more dry and brings your eye into the middle bit. What I should probably do on this masking as well is just play around with the temperature. So I think that's probably going to be too much, making it warm style. It's not how it was on a day, it was more of a bluey grey, so I don't think dropping it much. That's too blue, that's not going to look right that time of day. So I think maybe like a 2, just a real minor kind of change on that. And then do the same on the one above as well. I could drop the whites down a little bit more on that one. Don't think we need too much. But yeah, so 2 linear gradients at the top here. The bigger ones is really kind of putting it in here. We could really play around that a bit more if you wanted to and really sort of pull that down. See the difference that makes, really making that dark. I think it's probably a bit too much. It's probably a bit too real for that, but I feel like that's probably about right. It was a real overcast day when we're there. I can bring that down a bit more, just give that a bit more of that kind of dreamy look. So if I just show you back how the sky was before, see how it was really overexposed and sort of really blown out, couldn't really see the whites of the mountains. Whereas now you can see all the details back here as well. All these like lovely details of the mountain range and Reykjavik in the background there. I think that's looking good. Looking really good. So I think the next thing I want to try and do is bring out some of the emphasis in the colours. So let's go and add a radial gradient. I think I want to make this nice and big, like really big. I think I want to start off about probably something a bit smaller, a bit more like this, more like that. But really sort of emphasise sort of around here. It's where I want the eye to be going in this image. So what I'm going to do is actually invert this. So invert, so that will select everything apart from this area. And all I'm going to do is just bring the exposure on that down just a little bit. It's kind of like adding a vignette, but not fully. Bring out the contrast, drop down the highlights a little bit. As you can see, you start to see the smoke starting to appear around here as well, which I think is beautiful. Let's bring the relax down a little bit as well. Probably about there. I don't want it to get too black down here. Otherwise I'll be putting a post vignette on, but I think that's probably about where we want it to be. Make that just a little bit smaller. Move that across a bit more. Beautiful. That's really where I want the eye to go, and I want the leading line to come through here. But I like it getting darker and coming in there. It's just the editing style I want to choose. I just think it just looks a little bit more impactful. Obviously with all this, it's personal preference, so do whatever you think is best. So I think that's it for the mask at the moment. I might come back to that in a second, but I think that's okay. What I think I might do, I'm not particularly happy with what's going on in here. I think there's just a lot going on in here. I feel like it's quite yellowy. I think I'm going to leave that for now. I think I'm going to kind of go back, and I'm just going to darken this just a little bit more. So if I bring the shadows down a little bit more, make that a bit softer. And in fact, I'm going to make this a bit more up there as well if I can. Nice. Yeah, I think that's a lot better. A bit darker around here than I like. I can always lighten that up with a brush if I want to. I'll see how that goes. I kind of quite like that your eye gets pulled in here initially, and kind of we can lighten it up around there, and then got the nice darker bit as it starts to cool off down there. I think that's quite nice. So I think for the main changes, I think that's most of the stuff I do. I think I'm just going to sharpen it up a little bit. It's already quite sharp. I'm just going to use the options and masking just to make sure I'm not doing too much. Probably somewhere quite far in actually. I only want to do some subtle kind of stuff, but up the sharpness just a little bit and bring in some of the details. I think that looks really nice. As I said, I could add a vignette in if I wanted to. I could really kind of darken it down. That looks very dramatic. I think that's probably too much, so I'm gonna just remove that completely. I think that's fine as it is. I think I'm pretty happy with that. It's a bit of a distraction down here. I might move, I could crop it in a little bit. Maybe bring off a little bit of this edge. I think that could be quite distracting. So I'd probably just go to my crop, 2x3, just pull that in a little bit, probably say about there, lift it up a little bit, maybe take a bit of the sky out just to really kind of go from there. I think that probably looks quite nice. So cutting off a little bit of detail here, but I think that's just a bit of noise, unnecessary noise. Might need a bit of breathing room there, we'll see, but you can play around with it as you wish and kind of go from there. But yeah, I think that's it. Thank you for watching. Thank you all for watching my editing video today. It's my first one, so thank you for supporting. I'm just going to leave you with a little montage of some of the other photos I took at my time in Iceland. Hope you enjoy it and see you again soon. And don't forget to like and subscribe.